joining me again today. My name is Trina Bruneau, and I'm the ELA Curriculum Specialist with Gulfport School District. Today, we'll continue our adventure with the word of the day. So let's get started. Today, we will use our word learning strategies to help us understand the meaning of words in text, and we will apply these new strategies to help us better understand the text we read. Remember, we started a vocabulary log, and in our log, we're using the Frayer Model as our graphic organizer to help us learn our new word and to do a little bit of work with our new word. So grab your vocabulary log. If you haven't started one yet, just a blank piece of paper will work fine. Our Frayer Model, remember, we're going to draw one big square, divide it into quadrants or 4 parts. In the very middle, we'll connect those with a big circle, and that's where we'll write in our word of the day. Our word of the day today is civil. In conjunction with Barksdale Reading Universe or Barksdale Reading Institute, Gulfport School District would like to have this word of the day strategy as something that you use during this time when you are learning from home. So our focus on the word of the day, civil, will begin as you write our new word in the circle in the middle of your Frayer model. Let's say the word together 3 times. Let me say it again for you once. The word is civil. Now you say it with me. Here we go. Civil, civil, civil. Good job. Now we're going to write the word in our vocabulary log and say the letters aloud as you write. So in that circle in the middle of your Frayer model, write the word civil. Here we go. C-I-V-I-L. Civil. Your Frayer model should look like mine. Remember, for our Frayer model, in the upper left-hand quadrant, we want to write in a definition, but we want to create a definition that's in our own words. So let's look at the dictionary definition for the word civil. Civil means relating to the citizens and their activities, needs, ways, or concerns. The part of speech for civil is adjective. What do adjectives do? Well, that's right. They describe or modify nouns or pronouns. So they give us more information. Here's the definition I came up with. You're welcome to copy it into the definition section of your Frayer model. I wrote relating to ordinary people, so citizens, right? Ordinary people, and what is important to them. I also began to fill in the facts and characteristics. So in the top right-hand corner of our Frayer model, we want to write in facts and characteristics about the word, and that will help us better understand the word. So we learned that the word civil is an adjective, so we can fill that in. I also broke the word down into its syllables. And so you'll notice here that civil has 2 syllables. And I've written down the pronunciation for the word too. That'll help me when I look back in my vocabulary log later to use the word civil again so that I can say it correctly. Here are some other phrases you might hear with the word civil. We're going to try substituting the word citizen in place for civil to try to make meaning of these terms. So substituting words with close meanings to my new word can help. That's a word learning strategy that I can use to help me better understand the word. So here on the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see civil rights movement. So I remember that civil means relating to everyday people like you and me. And it describes our wants or needs or things that that we should have, right? So civil rights movement. Let me substitute citizen. Citizens' rights movement. Yeah, that works because I have rights as a citizen, just like you do. Very good. Let's look just below that. So the picture here at the bottom of your screen, you see civil service. So citizen service. Yeah, there are places that I go to receive service, like a courthouse. Look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, and you're going to see civil engineer. Ooh, that's a tough one, right? Engineer. That's someone who builds something. A civil engineer is a citizen engineer. Yeah, that works. And then our last picture, Civil War. So the War of the Citizens, Citizen War. Not familiar with that, but today I'm going to read a text that'll give me more information. So I'm going to build on the knowledge that I already have. Let's take a look at using the word civil in context. And we're going to use the word in a sentence now and see if it works. So sentence 1, Martin Luther King Jr. fought for the blank rights for all Americans. Let's see if the word civil works in the blank. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for the civil rights for all Americans. So, citizens' rights. What do I already know about Martin Luther King Jr.? Well, I know that he did fight for rights for people, and the people's rights, those are citizens' rights. So that would be civil rights. So that works. Remember, I can tap my prior knowledge, things I already know, to help me understand a word better. Let's take a look at another way we can use this word. Sentence 2. The blank engineer worked to plan and build a bridge in the new town. Let's see if the word civil works in this blank. The civil engineer worked to plan and build a bridge in the new town. Yeah, I know that works because we looked at civil engineer on the previous screen, and that would be someone who builds things for the people. So civil does work in sentence 2. Can you make a sentence of your own using the word civil? I want to keep working with this word. It's a little bit unfamiliar to me. So one thing I can do is to use a different graphic organizer to help me think of some examples. So I'm going to brainstorm here on this map or this graphic organizer, and that's going to help me fill in the example square in my Frayer model. So let's take a look again at the word civil and see if we can fill in synonyms or types of things that we can describe as civil. So we have civil rights, things we should be able to do, and civil duties. Those are our responsibilities. One of our civil duties is voting. So it's our job to go out and make our voice known when we're old enough. We can vote. But we have a right or civil right to free education, and you'll see that there as number 2. Can you think of other civil rights or duties that we can add in? Those are great ideas. I was thinking about one of my civil duties is to pay taxes, right? So when I go to the store and buy something, I pay taxes. And then one of my civil rights is freedom of speech. So my freedom to watch TV or to sing a song. I filled in some examples from my last graphic organizer into my Frayer model. You'll see it in the bottom left-hand quadrant of my Frayer model. You're welcome to jot these down, or you can come up with your own. Remember, you can draw pictures here too to help you remember the word. The word civil has multiple meanings. Here's another definition. Civil also means in courteous and a polite way. It's used as an adjective here as well. So in my Frayer model, since the word civil has 2 definitions, I want to add that to my definition section. So notice as number 2 in the definition part of my Frayer model, I've added in the word polite. Let's use the word civil when it means polite. So a multiple meaning word, it has more than one meaning. Let's see if it works in these sentences. Sentence 1. We insisted that the students interact in a decent and blank way. Civil can also mean polite. Let me substitute the word polite in the blank and see if it works. We insisted that the students interact in a decent and polite way. Yeah, we want to act in decent and polite ways. I can use the word civil in place of polite in sentence 1. Let's take a look at number 2. Let's keep this conversation blank. Let's keep this conversation civil. Yeah, that's right. That works because civil also means polite. And now I want to keep my conversations polite. For my pre-K through 2nd grade friends, there's a really fun read aloud I encourage you to take a listen to. It's a book called Be Kind, and you can find that on YouTube. Take a listen to that story and think about ways that you are kind. And we'll talk more about some activities you can do. For my 3rd through 5th grade friends, we're going to do some work with a passage called Slavery, the Civil War and Reconstruction, Gettysburg and the Gettysburg Address. This article can be found on readworks.org. Remember, it's important that we establish a purpose for reading. So we want to decide what information do we want to find as we read informational text. So I have 3 questions for you to think about. Number 1. Who fought in the American Civil War? Number 2, why was President Lincoln in Gettysburg? And number 3, why has the Battle of Gettysburg been called the most crucial battle in American history? Let's get started. In the summer of 1863, Southern and Northern troops clashed in one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. After the Confederate or Southern Army won a battle in Northern Virginia, it invaded the North and headed into Pennsylvania. It hoped to collect more supplies and weaken the North. Meanwhile, the Union Army of the North was pursuing the Confederate troops. The two sides met and fought near the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The battle at Gettysburg has been called the most crucial battle in American history. Before the Battle of Gettysburg, the Confederacy had been doing very well in the Civil War. But at Gettysburg, the North defeated the South. Let's pause here for a second. Defeated. What does that word mean? Good. The North beat the South. Let's keep reading. The battle was bloody. The Union Army suffered 23,000 casualties, while the Confederate Army suffered 28,000. A casualty is someone who is killed, wounded, or captured in battle. The Battle of Gettysburg turned the tide of the war and marked the beginning of the success of the North in defeating the South. In the fall of 1863, President Lincoln visited the battlefield at Gettysburg for a ceremony dedicating the field to all the soldiers who had died. He reminded people why Americans must stand up for their values. His speech, the Gettysburg Address, has become one of the most famous speeches of American history. Lincoln said, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the idea that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Lincoln's words were never forgotten. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people remains. Let's take a look back at the questions. So, who fought in the American Civil War? Do you remember? That's right. It was the North and the South, right? Look at number 2. Why was President Lincoln in Gettysburg? Yeah, he wanted to help the people understand the importance of what happened during the Civil War. And then number 3, why has the Battle of Gettysburg been called the most crucial battle in American history? That's right. That's where the North defeated the South and the civil rights of the people were restored. Civil. That was our word. What does civil mean? Very good. Take a look back at our Frayer model. So here we have filled in 3 of the 4 boxes. Remember, the 4th section on the bottom right of your Frayer model is where you write non-examples. So here you are welcome to write in words, phrases, or even draw pictures to help you understand or remember non-examples. So antonyms for civil. What is an antonym? Good. It's a word that means the opposite. Here's some ideas of things you can do to work with the word civil. I challenge you to be kind this week. So really focus on being kind to other people. Be civil, be polite. So remember, civil is a multiple meaning word. One of the meanings is polite, right? Practice maybe random acts of kindness. Can you send a card to a friend or loved one? Maybe you could use your sidewalk chalk to go outside and write a really loving message on your sidewalk. Check with your parent or guardian first, of course. See what you can do. Be sure to say please and thank you. Maybe you can make a fun poster about kindness and what that means. Whatever you do, be kind to other people. I appreciate you being here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.